Welcome back to another episode of the Real Talk Podcast. This is spooky season now, so we are going into the month of horror. All right, this is October.
My favorite month.
This is the greatest month for movies. This is Cav and I's favorite time to talk about horror films, and we are going to dive into a different kind of episode today. We're going to be talking about movies from the past versus movies today, especially in the topic of horror. So we've got a new kind of... It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a new style of doing it today. So we're going to go off a new rating system. So we're going to dive it into 5 different categories. We're diving into jump scares / shock value. Then we're going to do psychological fear. Then we're going to do gore and disturbance and suspense and tension. And finally, our last category in nightmare fuel. Now, these are all out of 10 with a grand total out of 50. So we have a scoring system ready and go time on all these films. We're going to dive into first different kinds of films. They're all different categories of slashers to supernatural to cult style of movies. So we're kicking it off today with Evil Dead versus Terrifier.
What the hell is wrong with you?
What, did you think he was gonna hack me up into little pieces or something?
Let's get it. I think some of these are going to shock you, Nick. Some of them shocked me, to be fair, and I think the audience watching is going to shock you as well. You know, play along as we, go back and forth. Make up your own system or write down which movies, what you would give what. Comment down below. Give us your opinions as well. So you're more than welcome to. I'd love to hear all of your guys' opinions on our scoring and your scoring. So Nick, let's go. Evil Dead versus Terrifier.
Okay, so this is the original Evil Dead from 1981. So we're jumping it off with the jump scares and shock value. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. Mind you, this is a movie that, is been out for over 40 years, so it's not going to hold up to what it was back then for me. I've watched too many horror films. However, it does a great job, okay? So the shock value has a lot of fun. There's not really that many jump scares in the film for me that really stand out, but that's okay. So it's a 6 out of 10. Psychological fear, it's very low for me, unfortunately. It's a 5 out of 10. It's not a movie that really scares me too much. It doesn't really play with my head as much. Doesn't really linger with me too much, so that's why it's quite low. However, Gore and Disturbance does give it a little bit higher. We got an 8 out of 10 for that. There is some intense violence in the movie. The practical effects fucking are bang on with it. There's some really good scenes in there that are really disgusting and disturbing, which make the movie so much more fun and enjoyable in a sense. The suspense and tension, I would say 7 out of 10, which is fair for me because, there really isn't so much going on because we kind of dive into the movie really quickly. Mind you, this is a very short film. It's only an hour and 20 minutes. So we dive into the movie about 20 minutes in, and it just is a thrill ride from then on. So it's not too much going on, but it is a lot of fun. Now into our last category, which is nightmare fuel. Very low. I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. This is not a movie that's going to scare you. It's not going to stick with you afterwards. You're not going to have nightmares. If I was a kid in the 1980s and I saw this, I would shit myself for sure. I just don't think it holds up to the value it has today. That's why I'm giving it a 3 out of 10.
Right. Okay. So what was your total for?
So my
that?
total is a 29 out of 50, which equals to a 58%. I know it sounds really low. However, I love the Evil Dead franchise. I love this movie, but by this rating style, it is low. However, if I were to give it an actual rating, it would be a lot higher than a 58%. But because of the style we're doing today, it's going to be low. But, you know, it's still a movie I would definitely check out. It's a lot of fun. It's quite comedic. It's a dark humor film, but does have some really good horror elements into it. And if you're a practical effects fan like Cav and I, you should definitely check it out.
Hell yeah.
So, Cav, what are we giving Evil Dead here?
Okay, so, right. This is... Mind you guys, there's a big age gap between me and Nick, right? So Nick has seen his films a lot later than I have, and I watched them when I was a bit younger and a bit more vulnerable to watching these and getting scared. And I'm going off like when I watched them as well, okay? So as opposed to, so this is why it's going to be a lot of difference between Nick's scoring and my scoring, which is interesting. To makes the video, makes you guys more interested in how we see things. Right, so for the system, I'm going with the system now. All right, so for the jump scare and shock value for Evil Dead, I gave it an 8. Right, okay. 8 because, you know, watching that movie when I was younger, for me it's like, oh my god, you know, the gore was there, the supernatural stuff in that, it's terrifying because it's like the longest time I couldn't listen to anything backwards because I was like, oh, that's an evil prayer. It's gonna wake up something in my mind, right? That's for me. It's like, oh shit. What are you gonna do? The shock value, you know. Even like the face makeup of the demons, like, shocking for me, right? That's why I gave it a solid 8 for that. Psychological fear, not as much, but still a 7, still high up there because of the whole demon thing. Because, you know, I believe in demons, and I feel like anything backward playing is gonna bring up a demon. So, you know, keep your backwards shit away from me. Gore and Disturbance. I gave that an 8 just because it is a gory movie. You know, there's a part where he's got a fucking chainsaw for a fucking arm and it's just chopping up people. Like, it's pretty gory for what it is. And it's, the practical effects add to the goreness, which is great. No CGI, lots of fucking red blood everywhere. That's great. Great. Fun. Suspense Tension, 7, because at the end of the day, you know, they're trying to figure out how we're going to get rid of this demon, but the demon keeps coming back and going, and it's there is tension there. Last but not least, what was the last one? Nightmare Fuel. Again, going back from when I watched the movie and how it made me feel, I'm giving that an 8. Again, because of the whole demon thing and, you know, accidentally bringing up something that shouldn't be there. And, you know, I'm always fearful of that, you know, especially when people play Ouija boards near me or talk about things that I want to, you know, it's in my mind. It's just what I'm scared of. And it brought that to life via film. So yeah, a total of 38 out of 50 for me. So yeah, not too bad, but not too great either.
Okay, that's pretty high. All right, so we're gonna dive into our next movie on the versus head-to-head scale here. We're gonna be going into Terrifier, the 2016 film. Now they're a little different of movies,
which I watched for the first time last year.
Yes,
Nick
so
actually introduced me to the Terrifier franchise.
Yes, and we watched all the movies. They're a lot of fun. I think there's something new to the entire horror genre in the new day and age of horror films, and it's kind of reinventing what slashers and supernatural films used to be back in the day. So I feel like this is a fair matchup here. So on the jump scares shock value for Terrifier, I gave it an 8 out of 10. It was a movie when I saw it first came out in 2016, so I was around 15 years old when I saw this. It scared the absolute shit out of me. You know, you see a clown that doesn't talk. He is terrifying looking. He's literally in the name. You know, he's a comedic character in a sense, but you know there's something very eerie about him, and there's something not human about him too. Psychological fear on the movie, though, I don't have it as high because it didn't really mess with me too much. Did it linger? Sure, but I gave it a 5 out of 10. I know that's low for this film because I know a lot of people really do think about Art the Clown afterwards, but mind you, I come from a horror movie background, so it's not something that really stuck with me for so long. Gore and Disturbance, though, this is a bang out at a bang out. This is a 10 out of 10. This is a movie that will disturb the shit out of you. If you are having a sensitive stomach or just don't like gore, in a sense, do not watch it then. However, if you wanted something different and have some fun, definitely check out Terrifier, because it hits the ball out of the park. Okay, this is a very violent film. This is not a movie that I would just suggest to anyone. However, it is comedic in a sense, the violence.
Eat after the movie, don't eat before the movie.
Don't eat at all. Yeah. Don't eat at all. If you're eating popcorn, you're gonna spit it out.
If you're going for a date night, whatever, plan the movie, the meal part after the date, because I doubt you're gonna keep it before the date.
Yeah. This is a movie you can't eat it at all, watching during. But yeah, 10 out of 10 for the gore and disturbance. Suspense and tension, though, I give it an 8 out of 10. I think the suspense and the tension throughout the film just like carries right off when we start seeing Art the Clown right off the bat. So, and it doesn't stop. We're with him the entire film. And mind you, it's not a long movie either. It's an hour, I believe, in 15 or 20-minute movie. So it's pretty short, but like Art is in the whole film. And he is not someone you want to fuck with, right? Once he kind of gets his target, he doesn't let up. That's his whole thing. So, and he's comedic in a sense. So you like him in a sense, but then you're afraid of him, and you're rooting for him, and you're not rooting for him. It's a strange balance in this character that I feel like why audience really love him so much, and why there's such a big cult liking towards him. Well, not cult, culture-wise liking towards him. Nightmare Fuel, though, is low. It's not a movie that really scares me. It doesn't give me nightmares. I'm not going to think about this fucking guy forever. So it's pretty low, but it's a 5 out of 10 for me. It's still going to freak you out. Yeah, it's low in a sense because, mind you, I've seen these movies many, many times, and there's 3 of them now. So I'm really desensitized to the character, especially in all our new movies now, and our old slashers as well. So... But it does still give a good rating for me on the scare factor. It's a 36 out of 50, which gives a 72%. So for me, it does beat Evil Dead right out of the park. We're almost about a 20% difference right there. So, unfortunately, Evil Dead does lose this battle for me, and Terrifier does terrify the fuck out of you, and no pun intended. So take a look at, if you haven't seen Terrifier, which honestly you should have seen it by now, no offense. It's a movie that I think all horror fans really, really love. So except for Cav, that if at least he's seen it, okay, at least he's seen it now, so it's perfect that we can talk about it. But yeah, that's my score, 72%. So Cav, what are we giving?
So I've gone like, as I was watching it, as I watched it last year, I didn't know nothing about the movie. I just knew it was like a gory movie, whatever it was. So for the jump scares and shock value, I gave it a 9, because having nothing to know about it, I was like, oh my god, what is going on in this movie? Everything was just, I was shocked throughout the whole movie. So thus it's getting a 9, right? Psychological fear, I gave that an 8. Let me explain why I gave that an 8. Before knowing that Art is not from this plane of human beings, I thought he was just a normal guy killing people, right? When you find out he's kind of not normal towards the end of the movie. So that's why throughout the movie I was like, oh my god, this could happen to anyone. Thus, I gave it psychological feel, like I could get kidnapped and this could happen to me, And I've seen lots of movies like that where it's based off a true story, and some of them are based off true stories. So I'm like, shit, this could happen to anybody, including myself. That's why I gave it an 8 for psychological fear. Gore and Disturbance, come on, it's a no-brainer really. It's a 10 out of 10, especially being introduced to someone hanging upside down and whatnot. Stuff like that. 10 out of 10. To this day, I still that's haunts my dreams, to be honest. What else we got? Suspense and tension. Suspense and tension, and not that much suspense and tension. I gave it a 7. There was a couple parts in the movie that were suspenseful, like, the whole trying to escape from the evil fucking clown. Suspenseful, but not super. And then the last one, Nightmare Fuel, I gave that an 8, because of knowing that this could happen to anybody dressed in the clown suit, because we did have that period of time where people were dressed as clowns. Remember that, Nick?
Oh yes, yes.
And
actually, that's exactly around the time the movie came out too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you don't know what the hell's gonna happen to anyone. That's why, for me, Nightmare Fuel, that movie coming out, and it's just the goreness terrified me of just like safety for my life walking in the street, because I met a few clowns when that was happening, and a couple of clowns was in front of my car a couple of times, and I was scared, because I was like, what the fuck do I do? Do I run you over, or do I just back up really quickly? What do you do? So yeah, Nightmare Fuel, a 9, total score of 42 out of 50. So overall,
wow,
very scary movie to me and the audience. Apparently,
you got an 84%. Wow. So looks like for both Cav and I, Terrifier wins the battle between them and Evil Dead. So Terrifier is the winner in our first bracket here. 84%, and I got it 72%. So Terrifier 2016, check it out. Check out the franchise. Great franchise. It definitely will scare the shit out of you. Okay, so we're going to jump into our second battle here. We have two movies that are quite similar. Just, almost 30 years apart. We're going to be talking about Seven and our new film from last year, Longlegs.
He's 2 murders away from completing his masterpiece.
Let's finish it.
Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Gwyneth Paltrow, directed by David Fincher.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
No. Seven.
You are a fish. I'll be waiting.
So Seven.
Are you kicking this off? Should I kick this off?
Kick it off with Seven here.
Okay. So Seven, jump scare, shock value, not really. Actually, there was some. It was no jump scares. Shock value. There were some shock values of how the deaths and whatnot. So I gave it a 4 because it wasn't super shocking. It was like, I gave it a 4. Because it was. It's been out for quite a while now. You've not seen it. But like, there's the ending, and there's a couple of bits in between. Not super shocking, but still shocking enough for me to give it something. Psychological fear, I give that an 8 because shit, like you said, it could happen to anybody. There is people out there that happened to. I think Zodiac killer. That was a
Zodiac,
thing. Yeah, the Zodiac killer. That was so something like that. It's it could happen. So psychologically, it does stick with you. Gore and Disturbance, I give that an 8 just because of some of the killings and whatnot in the movie. So that's not, it's still high because, like I said, I'm going off when I saw it a long time ago, and for me it still sticks with me. Like, I'm like not watching it now. Where are we now? Suspension Tension. I was debating between an 8 or a 7 because it's a detective type, so there is going to be some tension there and some suspense. But I settled on a 7 in the end, just because it's a little more. It's not high tension, but it's a good paced tension in that sense throughout the movie. So 7 for that. And Nightmare Fuel, I get that a 5 because yes, it could happen to you, but they are the police, and the police are here to protect, so that kind of eased my mind a bit. I was like, you know what? Eased my mind just a little bit. So overall, I got a 32 out of 50.
Okay.
So it's pretty low.
Pretty low. Damn,
but
okay. Mind you, this is the scale we're doing. It's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie.
I love the movie, though.
But from the scaling style we're doing the score, it's going to be low.
Yeah.
Okay. 7. For me, it's completely we're much far apart. Jump scares and shock value. There's no jump scares in this film, but shock value is fucking intense for me. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Okay, this is a movie when I saw it for the first time a few years ago. Actually, it wasn't a movie I was really expecting. Mind you, it's about the 7 deadly sins. So watching and finding out each one just got worse and worse and worse. And, you know, it really shocks you in a sense, because you're like, holy shit, you know, some insane motherfucker did this to these people. And it's disgusting. Psychological fear, it really does linger with you. Okay, this is like Cav is saying, like, this could happen to you, and we're not saying it will. Okay, we don't want this to happen, but like, it happened to either of us, and it would be fucking terrible, you know. But it's an 8 out of 10 for me. Psychological fear. This is a movie that really sticks with you afterwards.
It makes you think about your sins.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It really gives you another look on things. Like, fuck, if I'm one of those, yeah, he's gonna mass murder me in some fucking intense way. Now for Gore and Disturbance, it's an 8 out of 10. Like, those scenes, if you've seen the film, you know what we're talking about. They're intense. You know, they're not enjoyable. They're very grotesque. Mind you, we don't see how they're done, but seeing the aftermath is just as bad. So yeah, it gives it 8 out of 10 for me. Suspense and Tension, though, is an 8 out of 10 too. Okay, this is a movie that kind of just kicks it off right from the start, and we're in the whole world. And it doesn't really let up until, you know, the end of the movie, where the tension is at its climax, which is a fucking 12 out of 10. Okay, we're really high up there. You know, what's in the fucking box? You know, like, what's in that fucking box? Well, bitch, you better not want to know. So that's why my nightmare fuel is going to be high too. It's an 8 out of 10 for a nightmare fuel. This is a movie I never want to see even being happen. I don't want to find this on the news. I don't want to know this happened to someone that I know. You know, this is awful. It's not this is a real horror movie. You know, it's not some supernatural shit. It's not some slasher bullshit. This is a real horror movie that could happen. You know, that might have already happened before in the past, right? So this is why it's giving such a high rating for me. So I'm at it 40 out of 50 in the end, which is an 80%.
Oh shit. Okay. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, let's hit it off Longlegs. Gav, I know you love this movie, so let's hit it off.
This movie is great. Me and Nick were so eager to watch this movie when it came out. Like, honestly, we were there, like, the day of release. Fuck it, we're gonna watch it. Okay, so yeah, let's jump straight into it. Jump scares and shock value, gave that a solid 8, right? Not so much for the jump scares, but for the shock value of the movie. Bloody hell, it was so creepy, man. Like, shocking. Like, obviously, if you've not seen it, go watch it. But there are a couple bits where you see the main character, and when you see the main character, that's, for me, shocking. That's the shocking part. The shocking part is like just seeing Nick Cage be this character. That was, yeah. Psychological fear, gave that a 9 because bloody hell, it sticks through you. You know. Can't forget this guy. This guy knows everything, and it's just like little trinkets throughout the movie that make you believe that there's someone always fucking watching you, you know. And that's what, like, psychologically messes with you, because you're like, is there someone behind me? No, there isn't, but there could be. Gore and Disturbance. What did I give that for? I give that hold on, what's that, number 3? 1, 2, Gore and Disturbance 7. Is that 7? Yeah, no, 7. Yeah, Gore Disturbance 7. Only because it wasn't super gory, but disturbing. Was it disturbing? Yes, it was disturbing. Like, just for the killings in general, just disturbing in that general. Like, yeah. And then Suspense Tension, I gave that an 8 because this movie there was a lot of tension in this movie and a lot of suspense, because you're like, where is this guy? Who's this killer? How is it killing me? You're asking the reason it is because you're asking so many questions while the movie's going on, and you're trying to answer them at the same time. And as you're answering, another question pops up, and you're like, oh, but then there's like I said, there's little bits and trinkets, clues, breadcrumbs throughout the movie. That's the word. Breadcrumbs that give you little things, but like, yes, no. You know, that's why I gave it a good 8 for that. Sorry, a 7 for that. And Nightmare Fuel, 8. Because just of Longlegs himself, because that is a scary fucking guy, person, whatever the fuck it was. He was scary. Okay, it was scary. And Nicolas Cage, oh my god, it's one of his prized roles as someone who terrifies you, playing that. You know,
he is true nightmare fuel. Yeah.
Overall, it got a 40 out of 50 for me. So pretty
Wow,
high up there.
80%.
I think I feel like it was well deserved, to be honest. It hit the marks for me at least.
Okay. All right. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We're actually very close on our rating scale.
Okay.
So jump scares, shock value, I give it just a little higher. 9 out of 10 for me. This is a movie that really fucks with you. I feel like right in the first opening scene, you get the glimpse of who we're going to be seeing and, messing with Longlegs there. And it's really eerie and creepy, this is a movie that really feels like pure evil. This is the height of what Satanism is, in a sense, in this movie. So I give it a 9 out of 10. The psychological fear, it really fucks with me, to be honest. I really thought about the movie for quite a while afterwards, and I gave that an 8 out of 10. Nicolas Cage does a bang-up job with his character as Longlegs. It's a completely transformation that we've never seen him in any role before, and he really encapsulates this demonic being, in a sense. He's not really human, sort of. He is human, but he's got this different kind of way of keeping himself. I mean, he's a Satanist, so it really doesn't help too much towards his character there, but it really keeps you going and really scares the shit out of you. There's many great scenes. I think the one that really fucked with me a lot was in the house scene there. If you've seen the film, then you know what we're talking about with our star here, our detective, and she's getting her new letter, and then Nick Cage is fucking around her in the house. So that one really gets me. Gore Disturbance, I do have it a little high. It's only because some of the scenes were like pretty nasty. I have it an 8 out of 10. There is some really good violent scenes in the film, but but this is also, to a sense, like, this does feel like it could have happened. So that's why it's still creepy, and it's not really a lot of fun to watch. But it's not like what Terrifier was, where it's just like ridiculously violent. So this is more realistic violence in a sense. Suspense and tension is just on a high. This movie has got a great pace. It's got a 9 out of 10 for me. It's a movie that doesn't let up. It just keeps you invested the whole time. If you like detective and crime kind of films, this is definitely something for you. Thriller, and it's got that horror element to definitely give you the creeps.
With a sprinkle of like supernatural stuff in there as well.
Yes, definitely some supernatural that's hidden in there, and then you figure that out along the way. And then the nightmare fuel, this is a movie that could scare the shit out of you. I mean, seeing that face definitely doesn't help of Longlegs. So that's got an 8 out of 10. This movie did freak me out for a little bit. And I've watched it about 5 times now. It's a movie that still gets me. It's a great film. I would definitely highly suggest checking this one out. But unfortunately, 7 loses this battle. Longlegs gets up to a total of 42 out of 50, which is an 84%. It only gets 2 more points than 7. It's a very close battle for me. But it looks like both Cav and I agree. Longlegs wins this battle between 7. So that's done.
Point for the new movies. Another point.
That's 2 points for new movies right now. So
new school.
Well, we're gonna move on to now our supernatural style of films. We're gonna hit off with probably what a lot of people say is one of the scariest films of all time, which is 1973's The Exorcist. I think it still holds up, but it's not to me of what it is today with the new films. And our new film that we're going to be, well, it's not new now, but it's new to this, is it's battling against is The Conjuring 2013.
The one hope. The only hope. The Exorcist.
That I see in my dreams. She's standing in front of my mom's bed.
So, Cav.
So
let's hit it off with Exorcist. Again, let's hear it.
The Exorcist. I'm going off when I watched it. So I watched it when I was a kid, many years ago, and. Like I was telling Nick, it's one of the first movies I've watched where it actually gave me nightmares as a child. Like, I couldn't sleep because every time I'd close my eyes, I would see that girl in the bed with a demon face, and I'm like, it was terrifying. So based off that, That's the review. I'm giving you the review as how I saw it as a child, as that person, right? So, so I need to get this back up again. Ooh, there we go. All right. So jump scares and shock value. Shock value. Jump scares, not so much. Shock value, like I said, 7. A good 7 because it's like demons, possession. We hear a lot about people being possessed, you know, like not even in movies, just day-to-day stuff. The whole Vatican has a whole section about, you know, getting rid of exorcists. So it's like, oh, this could happen to anyone still. Psychological fear, 9 out of 10, easy peasy, because shit, you know, it's scary because it's stuck in my head. It's stuck in my head. I was fearful. I was terrified. I couldn't sleep. Of course, it's gonna get a 9, if not a 10. Actually, maybe a 9.5. I don't know. It will even have a 9 for now. I still went to sleep sometimes, but you know. Gore and Disturbance. I gave it an 8. Just because the makeup was so good for that movie.
Ugh.
Like, you really didn't see a little girl there. You saw a demon, you know, with the scratch marks on the face and the eyes, and disturbing, very disturbing. Suspense Tension, give that 7 because it's like they're trying to save this person at the end of the day, right? So there is going to be some tension there of like, is this demon going to take her? Is it going to kill her? It's like the tension is there, so give it a 7. Nightmare Fuel. Nightmare Fuel, I'm giving this a solid 9 out of 10 because it gave me nightmares. You know, that's the whole point of Nightmare Fuel. It gave me nightmares. I didn't give it a full 10 because even though it gave me nightmares, I still managed to fall asleep. But from time to time, I would think about it and it would keep me up at night. So thus, it's getting a 9. So The Exorcist for me got a 42 out of 50, which is a pretty high score.
84%. Okay.
Old school movie. I'm an old school guy. Like I said, the reviews for me for the score points is from how I felt when I watched it, and yeah, scary movie.
Okay, well, you're not gonna like mine. Sorry in advance,
guys. This is what a 10-year gap does between friends, and you know, just overall, just. Let's see
okay, mind you, like this is a movie I saw much later. Like, I mean, I was 15 when I saw this movie.
You were an adult when you saw this movie.
I was an adult. I was 15. I was still a teenager. So but mind you, at that time I've already seen a lot of horror movies, so it didn't really you know. But you know, had family hype this movie up so much, so maybe my expectations were a little too high for it. But still a great movie. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely a movie I would still go and check out. Jump scares and shock value is a 7.5 out of 10 for me. It definitely has some really good tense scenes in there that really gives you that creepiness in it. So, you know, I can't really discredit it for what it is. But psychological fear is pretty low for me. It's not a movie that really sticks with me too much. It kind of messes with you in a sense. If you know the backstory of the film, that there was actually some serious fucking supernatural shit going on in that set, then yeah, it kind of does creep you out. But it's got a 6 out of 10 for me. It's not a movie that really messes with me too much, but it's, you know, it's creepy. Gore and Disturbance, I give it an 8 out of 10. You know, like Cav was saying, the practical effects of what they did to Regan there is terrifying. Like that is nightmare fuel. That is, you know, everybody knows that pop-up screen of her face there, which is genuinely creepy. It definitely does scare the shit out of you. Suspense and tension, though. I do feel, you know, like there's some dread in that film. You know, it's 7 out of 10 for me. It definitely does not make you feel all right because you like Cav was saying, you're hoping, you know, she's going to be saved in a sense. You know, she's not going to be possessed fully by this demon. It's not going to take her life. So, you know, you kind of feel for her and her family. So it's really, really sad film in that sense, but it is creepy. Now, Nightmare Fuel is not going to be high for me. This is not a movie that stuck with me afterwards. It's not a movie that haunted me. I wasn't scared about it afterwards. It's got a 6 out of 10. Now, does it value? Of course it does. It's mind you, this is 1973. Okay, this is almost 50 years ago, and it's a movie that a lot of people need to check out for what it was back then. So 6 out of 10, which we ended up going to a 34.5 out of 50, which gives me a 69%. Yes, it's low, but like I said, this is our scare factors scaling, so it's not going to be that great. But the movie is fantastic. It's still a movie. If you haven't seen, definitely check it out this Halloween month. It's a movie I think everybody should check it out. But yeah, 69% for me. So Cav and I are about 15% off in our score rating here. But you know, like we said, old school versus new school.
But for this moment, looks like old school is pretty low right now. Let's see if the Conjuring changes the score.
Let's see it, Cav. Let's hear it.
Okay, for jump scares, Conjuring, I gave it a 10. Because dude, that movie was it was just built off jump scares, really, right? It was just so many jump scares in that movie. Great movie. Every Conjuring movie I've seen has made me jump more than 3 times, 4 times. Like it's great. Psychological fear, I give that a 9 because again, it's got to do with like demons and just the devil, and you just don't know. It goes back to what movie was it? Like the Evil Dead. I was saying, you know, stuff like that. It could happen to anybody because the movie's based off Ed and Lorraine. Like they went to these houses in real life to try and help these people that these things were happening to, right? So psychologically, it's like it's real to me. So I'm like, this shit could be happening in my house, you know? No ghosts come in my house, but I'm just saying it could. Gore and Disturbance. Not so much for gore, but disturbance-wise, I gave it a 9. Another really high score for me because it is a very disturbing movie. Because it's the way this whole family has been affected in real life, by the way. Mind you, this is all happening in real life. In real life, how this family has been disturbed by this being. Even the dog got it, you know? Like
the poor dog.
Dude, like the dog's hitting it, which means, you know, anyone can get it. So yeah, a solid 9 out of that. Suspense and Tension, a 9 again, because throughout the whole movie, you know, you really get attached to this family and how they're helping, and you feel the pain that they're going through. You just want it to be over, right? They want it to be over, but they can't because it's just constant in their lives, day to day, day and night. It's horrible. It's a horrible feeling. You really feel for them. Nightmare Fuel, 9 again, because I'm going back to the same point because it's for real. It happened for real, and it's Nightmare Fuel because every single day you could wake up and it could be a demon in your house because you went to an antique store or some shit like that, you know, stuff like that. And thus, it's giving me Nightmare Fuel as a grown adult. So screw you guys, basically thinking I'm scared and I'm a pussy. Take it from me, it's a scary movie. I love it, and that's why the overall score for me is a 46 out of 50.
Wow!
I think that's my highest score right now.
Wow!
Because The Conjuring for me, that whole series of Conjuring movie is the epitome of true horror, but movie. And the reason it's so high is because, like I said, the franchise is built off true stories and things that you could still go see and visit and be a part of even today. So yeah, 46 out of 50.
Okay. Okay. We got a high score for The Conjuring 2013. I think, you know, this movie really changed the game in the horror genre. You know, it really reinvented what supernatural films are. And I think, you know, it really added what jump scares can be. And this movie amplifies it. James Wan is a fucking masterful director. I think he's the GOAT when it comes to horror movies in a sense. But yeah, so Conjuring. Jump scares, shock value, 10 out of 10. Easy fucking money. It's 10 out of 10 right off the bat, man. This movie just doesn't stop. It's got tons of great jump scares throughout the film. It really freaks the shit out of you, you know, especially that wardrobe scene at the top. I think everybody knows what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. Yeah, so 10 out of 10 for jump scares and shock value. So psychological fear, I think this is pretty easy on a sense. It's 9 out of 10. Okay, 9 out of 10, man. Like, this is like the Cav is saying, you really feel for this family, you know, like you feel like it could happen to you in a sense, you know. This is based on a true story. Mind you, it's not 100% true, right? But still, we know that it happened, to a degree that it was not like, it's not fun for a family to be in that situation, right? So psychologically, yeah, it messes with you, you know, like this is one of the first horror movies I saw. This was back in 2013, so I was pretty much a kid when I saw this movie, and it scared the shit out of me, and it still does. Like, I've watched this movie maybe 10 times. It's one of my all-time favorite horror films, and it still holds up to today. 12 years later, still holds up. Now, Gore Disturbance is low because I don't find there was a lot of gore in this movie at all. Like, this is not a movie that was based off of violence. There is depicted violence in a sense, but it's not like really showing, besides our poor dog there. So that's
not the dog.
Yeah, not the dog. Fuck. Yeah, that sucked for like 5 minutes of the movie. 6 out of 10 for me for Gore and Disturbance. Now, Suspense and Tension, this is a movie that doesn't stop. It keeps on a thrill ride throughout, right until the end of the movie. It's a 10 out of 10. You know, this is a movie that's going to really creep you the hell out and really wonder what's going to happen next to this poor family. So 10 out of 10 for that. Yep. And Nightmare Fuel. Okay, this is a movie that will scare the shit out of you. Like, I'm telling you, like, I know we've been saying this, but it's a 10 out of 10, okay? This is a movie that won't stop. You're gonna think about this movie afterwards. You're gonna want to hope that you're gonna wish that Ed and Lorraine were still around to fucking help you out if you were to have been in a situation like this. So this is definitely a movie that will scare the shit out of you, unless you know your fear is like broken and you don't fear anything. Then okay.
Do you know what? Actually, it could be a very relatable movie to a lot of people that watched it. You know,
for sure.
This could have.
For sure. Mind you, it's a little bit of a timepiece, you know, it's back from the 80s there, or 70s and whatnot, and it's a movie that really still holds up to now. But yeah, it's a 45 out of 50 for me, which hits a 90%. It's so far the highest, which again, it looks like both Cav and I agree that it beats out the old movie. So new movies are on a roll. They're 3-0 right now.
Hey, you know what? It looks like the new movies are learning from the old movies.
From the old movies, yeah.
You know, to build on the fear factor of this is what a horror movie should be. You know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay.
This is the last set of movies.
This is our last one. So let's see who's gonna win this one out. This is what we're gonna be doing is Blair Witch versus Midsommar.
I just want to apologize to Mike's mom and Josh's mom and my mom.
Tell me where you are, Josh!
I don't know why you invited us.
That's why you look so guilty right now, because you know.
We only do this every 90 years. I was most excited for you to come.
Okay, so Midsommar is our new one, and Blair Witch is the older generation.
Yes.
What do you got for me, boy? Let's see what you got, homie.
Okay, Blair Witch Project 1999. When I first saw this movie, I will tell you, I think everybody feels like this is a real movie. You know, it's filmed found footage style, so it feels like it's a raw, true film. Mind you, they do say it's based on a true story, which is absolute bullshit. That was the whole marketing thing that they did for it. So a lot of people did believe that. So I think it amplifies that. But mind you, I knew that going into the movie, so that didn't really freak me out. But still, it still holds up. Jump scares, shock value, 8 out of 10. Okay, mind you, getting lost in the woods. I think anybody that's seen this movie does never want to get lost in the woods, okay? Because you know that there's going to be some fucking creepy-ass witch, and you're going to see all these, like, little people fucking sticks around, you know? Like, you don't want that to happen, right? So that definitely hits off, and it's a movie that really gets to you. Psychological fear is a 9 out of 10 for me. It really, you know, it stuck with me for a bit. It fucks with you because you don't really know where this movie's going to go in a sense, and you're hoping that they're going to eventually get out. Mind you, this is a movie, like, you're lost in the woods, but the difference is that you can walk forever and you never find anything. You just, like, it's like you're walking in circles the whole time. That's
Yeah,
what this
that's
whole thing is,
terrifying.
right?
That
And
is
that's not, I don't think anybody wants to be in that situation, right? Gore and Disturbance, I have it at a 7 out of 10. This is not an extremely gory film. There's one particular scene where you're like, that's disgusting. I think, I don't really want to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but let's just say it's something to do with that. And then we have that ending, which is like, okay, where are we going? But yeah, so 7 out of 10 for Gore and Disturbance. Suspense and Tension, though, 10 out of 10. Okay, like we start off the movie going into like they're finding out what the Blair Witch is, so we know what we're going to be diving into, but we're not 100% sure what it is, right? So it's a movie that just keeps on going. It's not a superly long film, so that's why I think the tension and the suspense really builds very effectively until their climax ending. So 10 out of 10 is easy, and then Nightmare Fuel is a 9 out of 10. This is a movie that, like I said, you don't want to ever be stuck in the woods for. You know, it's gonna keep digging at you. This movie still got to me, and I saw it much later. So, yeah, 9 out of 10, which we're gonna hit off with a 44 out of 50 with an 88%. So far it's pretty high up for me. Yeah, Blair Witch, 1999.
All right, Blair Witch. All right, Blair Witch. Here we go. The first of its kind of found footage horror. Okay, so it set the benchmark for all your found footage horror movie fans out there. This is your golden grail of a movie, right? This is the one where it set everything off. So that's why in how I'm doing this is I watched the movie probably 2 or 3 years after it came out in the theaters. So that's you know, that's fresh like that when I was a kid. I still, to this day, I still watch it and I still feel freaked out. But let's go from that. So yeah, Blair Witch Project, the jump scare shock value, I gave it an 8 because, like I said, the shock value, it's more of a build up. It's more of a, like a, you know, there's not many shocks throughout the movie. It's just like, oh, it's still high, you know, when they find little things, little trinkets in the movie again, they find little bits, like, oh, okay, it's a bit creepy. So yeah, I gave it an 8. Psychological fear, straight 10 out of 10, guys. Straight 10 out of 10. Because psychologically, like I said, you can't go to a fucking woods, forest anymore without thinking about the Blair Witch, you know? One time I went camping and I had to, me and my friends went camping into the woods. A bunch of us went in and I was like, oh, I've got to go home. No one wanted to walk out the woods with me. I kind of knew the way home, but I didn't, and it was getting dark, so I was like, let me go before it gets dark. Like a fool, as I was walking out of the woods, it was getting dark. And mind you, this is back in the day when we didn't have like iPhones and stuff like that. We just had like little Sony Ericsson phones, like that barely had a torch on it. So lights going down, I'm like, all I could think about in my bloody head was Blair Witch, Blair Witch, Blair Witch. I know it's not real. And I was, how old was I? Maybe like 16 at the time, 16 or 17. Yeah, I wasn't a child, but I still, in my mind, I'm like, I gotta get out before I die from the Blair Witch. That doesn't exist. So psychologically, it's getting a 10, right? Gore and Disturbance. Not so much gore, like you said, Nick Disturbance, 8. Of course, it disturbed me as a kid, disturbed me as an adult. It disturbs me, as a teenager, and disturbs me as an adult now, to this day, right? So people, you can't go in the woods like, watch out for the Blair Witch. Doesn't exist, but that's what I'm trying to say. Like, as a joke, people still joke about it because it's like, oh shit. Okay, Suspense and Tension, I gave that a 9 because you do feel the suspense throughout the movie. It's like, what's going to happen to them? What is happening to them? Are they going to escape? You know, because the movie starts off with them, you must have seen it. I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything, but the movie starts off with them finding something, not finding, sorry, that's the new one. Knowing about this witch in the woods, right? So someone must have said something to someone. It's like, oh, adds the tension, the suspense. It's like, are they going to find this thing that's been haunting this? No one wants to talk about this witch in the town. It's like, that starts the suspense for me. It's like, if everyone knows about her but doesn't want to talk about her, what the hell is this going to happen, right? So yeah, so we're going to get a solid 9. And Nightmare Fuel, 10 out of 10. Of course it's 10 out of 10, you know? It's a witch, we don't know what it is. We've seen a lot of witch movies in our days, and this one is definitely up there. So 10 out of 10, and the final score I gave it was a 45 out of 50. So
wow,
really
90%.
Yes, and 2025, it has held up to its horror,
I agree,
scare factor.
I agree. Okay, we're gonna finish it off with Midsommar here, 2019 movie. I think people might have seen this. Ari Aster's film here, which came out right after Hereditary. So jump scares, shock value for me. I think it's more on the shock value. There's not really many jump scares in this movie. It really hits off.
Well, technically, there's one jump scare in the movie.
Yeah, literally, yeah. But yeah, the shock value, especially from that jump scene, really does fuck with you. I give it a 9 out of 10. It's not something that we've really seen before. It kind of reminded me of The Wicker Man in a sense. Like we have a different kind of style to it, but it really does work. So 9 out of 10 for that. Psychological fear, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. The reason being on that is that, yes, it messes with you, but like when you finish that movie, you're like, what the fuck? You know, it's a long film, mind you, so you know you're in through a whole ride of events. But Gore Disturbance, 8 out of 10 for me. There's some pretty disgusting scenes in there. You know, our climactic ending was just like, I was just like shocked the whole time. I was like, okay, interesting. Yeah. Suspense and Tension, I don't feel like it was that big for me. I give it a 7 out of 10 because it's still like, I would never want to be in that situation. So putting myself in their shoes, it's awful. But like the movie is long, so there's a lot going on, and it's kind of slow here, and then it picks up, and then it dies down a little bit. But yeah, 7 out of 10. And then Nightmare Fuel, it didn't really haunt me, because like I know the Midsommar is a real festival, and it's not anything like what the movie is. It's actually a very beautiful festival. But Nightmare Fuel is a 7 out of 10 for me. It's not a movie that I really like was freaked out afterwards. It was like I thought about it, but it wasn't like, shit, I'm never gonna go to any, you know, foreign festival ever again. You know, like it was good. It's a good movie, but
imagine Oktoberfest was like that.
Oh, that would suck. That would suck. I like Oktoberfest. So in the end, I gave it a 38.5 out of 50, which gives me a 77%. So,
okay.
Yeah, Midsommar loses this battle for me.
Right. So my score for Midsommar, I pronounce it Midsommar. I don't know why. It's just something I say. Midsommar. It fits so well with the aesthetic. Right. So jump scares and shock value, I gave that a 6. No jump scares. Shock value, there were some shock values in there, but like I said, it wasn't like so shocking that it's gonna haunt me, you know, like it wasn't scary. It was like well, one of those. Psychological fear, I gave that a 7, because it's like, yeah, psychologically she's in this position where you're like being taken advantage of, but you kind of know and don't know you're being taken advantage of, so it's kind of psychologically messes you. It's like, this could happen. No, it couldn't happen, but I don't know. It scared me psychologically as opposed to psychologically. So Gore and Disturbance, I gave that a, what was that one? 1, 2. Gore and Disturbance, actually I gave that a 9, because not so much for the gore part, for the disturbing part. There were some disturbing parts in there. I was just like, what's going on? Like, I didn't know nothing about the movie before watching the movie, so disturbingly, like I was like, why are these people doing these things? I was asking questions. Like, when I feel disturbed, I ask questions on questions about the movie. Why is this happening to this person? What is happening? What is the reason behind this? Why are they doing this? And why are they so calm about it? That's what fucked me up the most. That's what disturbed me the most. They were so chill about it, singing and dancing and having a fucking party, drinking fucking blood. Like, what? Disturbing. Come on, guys. That is disturbing. Anyway. Suspense and Tension, I gave that an 8 because not so much the suspense, but the tension was there, because you really felt like Florence's performance in the movie. I was feeling her tension in there, because it was just, like I said, the ping pong ball effect of her just being around all these people and being enveloped in their like festival and being thrown in the deep, no pun intended, thrown in the deep end, right, in this, being part of this thing. I was like, oh shit, okay, cool, maybe what's gonna happen to her, right? So Nightmare Fuel for me, overall, I gave it a 7. Wasn't a super scary movie, nothing that's gonna linger with you for days on end, but it does make you think about, you know, are there cults out there that pretend to be nice and, you know, stuff like that. So it makes you think. So thus it's getting a 37 out of 50 for me on the scare factor, which for the first time out of all these movies, old school has beaten new school and the Blair Witch has come out.
The first time. It's a 3-. Well, old school unfortunately loses the entire match, but at least they don't get swept. So that's one good thing.
Do you know what? In this circumstance, yes, old school. But all the movies we have mentioned, me and Nick genuinely do love. And,
yes.
You know, in their own ways, they are great movies, and we recommend watching all of them, actually. Don't miss out on any of them, because they're all as great as they are as a movie.
100%.
Against each other.
Yeah, so, definitely check out everything that we've talked about. They're all great in their own way. These are all some classics here too. I think all of these can be classics now. So definitely check out these films if you're wanting to spice things up for the month of October and see something different. You know, like we've categorized our films here.
The great thing about a good chunk of these movies is there's more than one of them to watch.
Yes.
You're going to enjoy, like, the Conjuring series, great series to watch. I even like the remake of the Blair Witch. They made a remake of the Blair Witch.
The Blair Witch, that one was really good. That was actually a really good movie.
Really good. The Terrifiers, great little thing there. So yeah,
and we have our Evil Dead franchise as well. We got a lot of movies there for you to watch.
Yeah, so Halloween is going to be fun-packed for you guys. You know, give yourselves if you've watched these movies and you feel like our scores were so different to you guys, or you just want to give them a score for yourself, an overall scare. You know, make it easier for you guys to comment down below. Just give me say the movie and give your overall scare rating out of 50. What you think, or even out of 10, what you think how scary these movies were mentioned. Would love to know. Honestly, it'd be great to know.
Well, we're gonna wrap up.
Pussy or Nick's pussy.
Yes, we'll see hopefully next week, and we'll see if we'll do another episode of these. But for the rest of the month, we will be diving into all horror movies and different ideas for each episode here to see what else kind of movies you should go and check out, and other movies we should also watch as well. If there's anything that you guys think that we haven't seen or want to recommend, please drop it down in the comment section there. But we'll see you next time with our horror movies. All right, guys.
Okay,
peace out.
Peace.